I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Who I went to school with, who'd be teasing me and shit. I know this guy. He's barely recognizable given the bruises on his face, minus what I remember. When his gift of ridicules, pleasure in the school's vestibules, and from that angelically rotten boyish face made airplanes and stick figures and name tags to my four-eyed face. With the man sitting next to him, having his arm around him, must be his daddy. They're talking about how this guy's been beaten, and I'm reading on trying to find a reason. I don't know. He was probably on his way to the stove, getting some milk since he didn't have any more. Or to another stove since, where he went to first with his pockets hurt, the milk at that first store went up to 4.
Whatever I was doing, I ain't paid nobody no mind. Wherever I was going, I didn't need to look behind. But they were parked, eyes of steel, start. Ain't spared or nothing, ain't said nothing. But the engines were rumbling, stomachs grumbling.
Maybe to his girlfriend's house, who he ain't seen in a minute, and all because of a fight they had. About a kid, if it's his, who's really bad. Still, he ain't seen her in a while. Missed and seeing her smile, looking like a little prune. Maybe he was on his way to get some for her birthday. And they are a week apart in June.
I ain't paid nobody no mind. Didn't need to look behind. Whatever I was doing, wherever I was going, ain't spared or said nothing, but the engines and all were rumbling and grumbling.
Maybe he went to play some ball, and with a couple of friends who seem, despite their hoop dreams, to not be as good as they all should. Or maybe to his cousin's house, who was promised to be taught how to ride, since he couldn't stand seeing a 10-year-old fall.
And either the motherfuckers had a taste for some Pizza Hut, or if they had enough to get their dick sucked, or get who they're friends with, and Arab, as them niggas would call them, to put extra sprinkles on their donuts. Didn't matter to this nigga who was still walking, still ain't spared, who still ain't said shit, just minding his own business. But did it matter to whoever was sitting and grumbling and looking and rumbling in their car?
And he was getting close too, heading somewhere, and to no place special like the stove, or his girl's house, or the park. That's why, probably, as I'm thinking of all this, he sighed, and of whom he kept looking at the corner of his eye.
The fuck you looking at? What the fuck you looking at? You wanna get in this car? I ain't going no motherfucking where. Who the fuck y'all think y'all are? I don't know if I was being rude or not, but what shit I had, what they thought I got, I graduated, despite the teachers I hated. I acted a fool, but I stayed in school. Used to tease this one dude with his nerdy ass since he's the best in class, wearing the color of stained glass and lens the size of a magnifying glass. All that addressing, professing, which to me, needless and confessing, distressing. Not that he really did anything to me. Never put his hand on me, talked with me. He was just lame. I don't think all this time I known him I'd ever lay so much as a finger on him. Not that I would. I don't do that. Wasn't raised like that. I just like to have fun. Hell, if he had known that, we could have been tight, just like that. Let alone a heroine of a red bone, brownstone, or any tone, giving him something with at least a taste of her jawbones. I could be as lazy, but not that I can't fold, just as crazy. But I ain't that cold. And as far as whoever screamed at me in that car, I was just as grown. But daddy in his 40s looking as if he's 60 and mama gone in her 40s. Lord, she is sweetie. I would leave from home, save just enough to get a place of my own, just as dignified as far as respect. But for now, despite the brows pushed down, firm and confirming his frown, this man was mortified, knowing not what to expect. So I ran up the stairs and slammed the door.
And I told him many a time to not do that anymore. But I didn't care about that door anymore. As far as what I saw, this sore, all the times he'd been tough, my son, my baby, my only one, came home.
Some raisin puffs.
Raisin puffs.
I too thought he was tough, but not so much as someone who would hurt somebody and not give a fuck. for what I saw in my cell while I was still at work and on my lunch starting at 12.
Bruises, imperial but barbaric. Sweat, tears, spit, ghastly yet aesthetic.
Face so plump and swole, you'd think of a child not wanting to finish what he'd like to eat from his cereal bowl.
Couldn't tell if it was my son since his face was so puffy.
Couldn't tell if I looked like myself. Couldn't tell either if I pissed on myself, shitted, with my nose being all stuffy.
Told me what happened, my boy. And like a kid, everything they done did.
They pushed me in the car. After they cuffed me, they took me where it was private but bare before they roughed me.
Then what happened? I asked. Then like a kid, what else they done did?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Even though I already was and continued getting the beat down. I couldn't say anymore, didn't want to talk anymore, but knowing full well too that I was sore.
I asked if there was anything more.
Standing over me, laughing over me, the badges, golden, flash, the spot I got on my gut, so grazed like my nuts and swollen. My pants, already sagged even more, showing half if not all of my ass, and my spit glittered loosely in blood as if diamonds in a ruby.
I looked at my uniform, what I'm wearing, but of a different bearing. I work as a security guard. I grab, cuff. Sometimes I do cuss. Still, and whether if I'll ever work as a security guard or not, no way would I go that far doing some shit like that. Not to somebody who they don't know, especially if it's somebody's little girl or boy. Just if I was about to ask the boy, my boy, if...
Just leave me alone, all right? I told you everything. Just go on, all right? The fuck, please.
He sounded just like my boss. Mean and hateful. Can't stand his ass. But I would always do my job, but I'd always want to say something to his ass. Look, boy, don't you be hollering at me like that. I'm just doing my job. I know it wasn't wrong for them to do that. They didn't have to do you like that. But don't give yourself a reason again to get hurt even more, okay? Keep doing that shit. Shit, you probably went around fucking with people. Same as my boss, messing with people, and they ain't done shit to you, like that one boy in school used to tease all the time. Down the hall, I went for the alcohol. And perhaps Pepto-Bismol.
I just said, small as I can be. Like that boy I used to mess with all the time. Just sat, thinking of him, me, and thinking of the people who've been picking on my daddy. Just sitting on my mind while staring at the wall. Sitting on the bed, staring at the wall. Me, the bed, them, and the wall. Just me and the boy and them and the bed, all on that motherfucking goddamn wall. Daddy asked me again if I needed some alcohol. If not that, Pepto-Bismol. But told her, scold me again to...
Stop looking at that goddamn wall!
Maybe I needed to quit being so tough. Maybe I didn't need any milk. Maybe I didn't need to see my girl or our child. Maybe I didn't need to kick it with my boys or help one of my cousins ride a bike. But I wanted something from that store. I wanted to see my girl, and I wanted some fresh air, especially when dude asked me if I wanted to hoot with him. And I said, I don't care. And I do want to show my cousin how to ride. Maybe one day if he has any kids, he'll teach them how you would stumble and wobble but not fall. I don't know. Maybe I should have stayed my ass at home. But I ain't do shit.
I couldn't find a reason as to why all that happened either. He told us what we needed to know, but maybe he was still trying to figure out what he had really done that was wrong. But no matter how spared he was being, how bright a light he still is from outside in, peering, just as his future.
As hope or faith itself, recalled being of substance unseen and remains being worth believing.
The next time, and whenever inferior, when looking in that mirror,
I would think of him, feel him, now and again, even thereafter, never being seen upon the skin, black skin at least.
those raisin puffs.